quickly. Hannibal Bot clipped me talking about Tommy, because we're going to talk about Tommy stuff quickly. We're probably going to do two call in with JSTLK. But I think that this was handled very badly by Chud. Do you know what? I think that the Tommy C stuff was handled really badly by Chud. I think Tommy was retarded for getting this head up about it and going on this crusade. I've said this to Tommy, and I've said this to Chud. But I think responding to the Tommy stuff was like the dumbest thing Chud could do. Hey.
Hello.
How are we doing?
How's it going?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I am just watching exactly what I said, so I know what I'm responding to. Just because I don't want to misquote myself. Give me 2 seconds. I need to watch 20 seconds because Tommy's accusation against Chud was Chud will.
I totally forgot to restart my OBS today. Sorry, it's not on you.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Make you into content. Like, it doesn't matter about your previous relationships. He is waiting to cannibalize you. And then Chud, by responding to it, just proves Tommy's point. And the target for Tommy's point wasn't the audience. It was other creators. Okay. Cool. How you doing, JSTLK?
Now you're back. Doing pretty well.
But yeah. So let's talk a little bit about some of this shit, right? Have you watched Nick's full stream now?
Yeah, I've watched basically all of it. I think I don't have the last 5 minutes or something.
Okay,
I think I'm missing the last 5 minutes or something, but I've seen the whole thing.
Okay. Simpman says, hi, JSTLK for $25. Thank you for the 25. I mean, much appreciated. Okay, cool. Yeah, so what do you want to talk about? Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with this Tommy shit?
Yeah, let's start with the Tommy thing.
Okay.
For sure. Let's start with the Tommy thing.
Give me a criticism. Yeah, you
go ahead.
Let's start there.
So you didn't say what the main motivation was of Tommy, the main criticism, which is, do we think credibility attacks are important?
Yeah, credibility attacks are important.
Okay, so Tommy is. Do you think there's a tangible difference? Okay, the metaphor you used was like if you come down and you see like your mate talking shit about you after some stuff goes down, you'd be upset about it. But if it's somebody you don't really know or don't care about, it's not that big a deal, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so now what if it's like somebody who's a friend of your friend who you don't really get along with or don't really know that well, but they're saying, hey, your best mate, the guy you like trust, he hates you. He's talked shit about you. He says you're a snake. He says you have no credibility.
Well, okay. What do you mean? Like, just lay this out a bit more simple rather than just garden pathing me. Give me a take.
Oh, the take is that Tommy saying this guy's a snake because he makes content out of people while making content out of Chud. There's no like downside. It's like the whole thing about being a snake would be making content out of people who you're not willing to do content with, or you don't want to make content out of something. Tommy is opening himself up for that. There's no snake criticism. Anybody who's willing to say Tommy won or it was stupid for Chud to respond is just sweeping. Like horribly.
Okay, so it doesn't matter what Tommy said. It matters what Tommy's intention was. So Tommy's intention with this was to basically go after Chud's credibility, not in the eyes of the audience, but in the eyes of other content creators. And the play is, hey, Chud Logic will make content out of anybody, and when he does, regardless of previous relationships, will be bad faith about it. Because he doesn't care about you. He doesn't, like, your relationship with him is just dependent on like how useful you are to him, either as a connection or as content. Because Tommy is fucking tiny, but also well connected with other content creators, Chud responding is the wrong thing to do, because ignoring it's just the obviously better option. Because like all Tommy has to do is go, look, see, Chud's responding to me. It doesn't matter what Tommy says. All Tommy's play needs to be is look at Chud's response. Yeah, I'm not talking about the content of the like
you understand
arguments.
Anybody who thinks that response like makes Chud look like a snake or proves Tommy correct is being a retard, right? Like a slobbering retard.
Yeah, but it's about confirming a bias.
Like you don't think it makes Tommy correct. You're arguing you're not arguing that he's correct. You're arguing that was his goal and it could be successful. But I don't think it could be successful to anybody who's not obviously motivated.
Well, it seems so, but it seems to be, because it seems to have had that effect with other commentators, right? Because Tommy's the one waving that banner, along with other people like Willie.
Tommy,
Right.
wait, do you think Tommy was lying? Because the whole point of that content was actually all of your friends think you're a snake, all of your friends hate you. Which content creators did Tommy convince? Because all of the ones that were actually close to Chud were already convinced. So which content creators
were
did Tommy
they? Because
convince?
I don't think Nick was in any way convinced. I don't think Nick was in any way convinced.
Well, that's what Tommy said. Tommy was saying that he was convinced.
I think Tommy is wrong on that, because otherwise Nick would have gone after Chud ages ago and burnt the bridge with him. And even when this
if
was
Tommy
happening,
was wrong on that,
hold on. Even when this
why
was
didn't
happening,
Nick say Tommy was wrong on that?
because Nick was like, "I'm not getting
Okay.
involved with talking about any of this stuff." He did the same thing with the Willy stuff when Willy came out with a video about Oggy.
Yeah, that's that's the standard of a totally disingenuous loser. Like,
Okay.
obviously he likes what's happening in both of those situations, obviously, right? Or he would step in.
Wait, why would he like what's happening in both those situations? Why would he like Oggy and Willy?
Because he's
fighting?
upset with both of those people. He's upset with Queeman and me, so he is perfectly happy to let us be painted as doxers and to amplify that and never disavow it. And he is upset with Chud, so he's totally willing to let that be amplified by somebody else.
But I'm not
even though they're
hold on,
invoking
I'm
him,
not talking
and
about.
he'll never step in to fix it.
But I'm not talking about with you and Queeman and Chud. I'm talking about with very specifically. I said there with Oggy and Willy, right? Two people that Nick is friends with, and he was like, "I'm not getting involved."
Wait, what?
So with the Oggy and Willy stuff,
Sorry, say that
when
again?
Nick said that he wasn't going to get involved, it was the Oggy and Willy stuff that, because Willy brought out a video saying that Oggy was involved in this and said
Okay.
that he was like,
Yeah, I see where you're going.
yeah, and then Nick was like, "Well, I'm not getting involved in this." And he also said in that stream, "I told Willy not that it was a bad idea to release that video," right?
Where did... Yeah, that is a total cop-out on any serious criticism.
Sure, but again,
doesn't
like,
live up to any standard anybody in this community actually hold up.
sure, but at the same
Like, you think Nicholas was totally fucking retarded? Like, he actually looks like the most like, nothing hurts his credibility more than amplifying the totally defamatory, totally lying Willy video and then never disavowing it, right? Like, obviously that hurts Nick's credibility massively.
okay, with who though? Right, like because
With anybody who's paying attention, with anybody intelligent who's paying attention.
I think
in a
ultimately
vacuum, that hurts his credibility.
I think that the stuff that Willy has put out around the doxing shit absolutely hurts people's credibility for not addressing it. And I think that it's like, again, putting out accusations where you don't have the full amount of information, or you're not presenting the full information to the public, or like to people generally, is going to hurt your credibility. I've said this about like the Willy stuff where Queenman was like, Willy was getting fed information by Erudite for his video, and I was like, well, you've got no evidence for that, show me the fucking evidence. And he didn't, and we had to wait for fucking Kilo to come out months later for it. Yes, obviously you should show evidence for those claims. Willy doesn't seem to have that fucking evidence, but Nick, like, again, is backing away from
Can you pull... Oh, sorry, go ahead. I'm cutting you off. Go ahead.
But Nick pulling away and being like,
somebody called me a Destiny Orbiter. I want you to pull up a tweet for me on your stream real quick. I'll send it to you.
yeah, sure. That's true. You are
I don't deny that.
desperate,
But
desperate
just pretending that this is like obviously awful. I've literally never begged for this kind of thing. So this is truly embarrassing stuff. Okay, I think you should pull this stuff up on your stream.
Can Destiny host another seminar for drama YouTubers where he explains the Tenet media stuff to normies? I am way too lazy to research myself, but it seems funny. Yeah, I mean, commentary was like getting involved in all this politics shit. Like, I don't think anybody's denying that was ridiculous. Hold on, what's the other one?
Can you pull up the other one?
I like the concept of Destiny sitting me and Tom down for 6 hours and giving us a college lecture every few months, so I am less useless when discussing shit. I mean, is anyone... Wait, is Deorio denying that he was a Destiny fan at one point? Is Tom denying that? I don't really see the relevance.
I do believe Nick's denied it, but I don't have the clips right now, so I believe he said, like, I didn't have anything to do with those people. I wasn't close to them.
Well, again, there's a difference between being close to somebody and, like, doing content with them, right? Like, Nick wasn't a Destiny Orbiter the same way you were or Chud was, or, like, multiple people in politics was. That's not the same thing as being an Orbiter. That's doing content with somebody, right?
Hmm?
Like, and obviously in the same way that, like, I don't know, I have relationships with, like, I have vague.
I don't know
distant
that there's like a
relationships with,
super
like,
clear line there, but I honestly
Anthony
just wanted you to pull
Bromegilio.
those up so people could look at these really humiliating tweets.
Okay.
Honestly, I didn't have a whole lot of like tangible points to make here.
You're just no, that's fine. That's fine. You just want to shit. I just don't think that matters, because I don't think that's a secret that Nick was, watching Destiny and enjoyed interacting with Destiny before all this kind of happened. I don't think that's a secret at all.
Sure. So I still think the lack of disavowal. So after retweeting Willie's video, that is totally defamatory. The lack of disavowal and separating himself from the lies was huge hit to his credibility, obviously. Okay. I don't know how you could disagree there. For you, if you retweeted a video that was accusing somebody of doxing, would you not want to go and correct like the misinformation in that video? Would you not feel compelled to?
Well,
that feels like a pretty obvious ethical obligation, no?
Okay, well, I think part of the problem.
Sorry, can you just answer?
Videos...
That feels like a pretty obvious ethical obligation, no?
Well, yeah, but at the same time, like, the position everyone seems to have right now is that the Willie stuff, like, they're just trusting Willie. Now, I've got my own problems around this shit, which I'm not denying, but it's like, yeah, Nick seems to have just distanced entirely from talking about any of this shit around you guys, right? Like, I'm not.
No,
like,
he retweeted the video. Why are you coping right now?
Well,
Please. He retweeted the video.
Okay.
He wasn't opting out. He was amplifying the video, right?
Sure.
And so if you retweeted a video that was accusing somebody of doxing, and then you found out that that was a total lie, you would feel compelled. That would be an ethical obligation on your part to disavow that and make correct to your audience that information, right?
Okay, I need to see his coverage of this too, actually, because I haven't, to kind of give a fucking take around this, because I don't know what Nick said. And at the same time, if Nick's position is I just trust Willie's got the evidence and has done the research and believes these guys are involved in his doxing, or whatever was fucking said, like, I don't know. The only thing I have seen Nick say about this video publicly, again, the only thing I've seen him say about it is, I don't think that Willie should have made it, and I told him that he shouldn't release it, and I think the accusations against Oggy within it are a little bit crazy. That's all I've seen Nick say about it.
That's bad, right? Because he amplified it? Because he retweeted the video?
I don't know, like, okay, hold on. What are we talking about as amplified here?
I think
it seems like a fucking rabbit hole. He's talking about somebody, he's, like, friendly with Willie. He, like, tweets out Willie's video on Destiny. And again, but also says publicly that he's like, generally, I don't think this is a good route to go down with the personal attacks, and you should have the evidence for it. Right? Is that not a disavow? I mean, he's not referencing you in particular, but like the only take I've seen him give about this publicly is, I told Willie he shouldn't bring the video out. It's a bad idea to go down this route. And if you're going to make accusations, you need the fucking evidence for it. Is that not kind of a disavowal and going, well, it doesn't seem to hold up?
No, it's not. It's not a disavowal on the same platform he amplified it on, unless he tweeted it. Did he tweet it?
Well, this was said public. It was said on his stream. I don't know. I don't like the cross thing. Like, people who are getting his tweets, the vast majority are going to see his streams, right? Like, I don't know.
No.
I don't view Twitter that way.
No, I don't. Way more views in his streams.
I don't view Twitter that way. Or like, if you say something on like one platform, you've done the disavow. You don't need to like cross-platform things.
Just evaluate the statement. Sorry, evaluate the statement you just made. Way more people see his streams than his tweets. I think we know that's obviously not true.
The people who are engaging with him, who are listening to his takes, are watching his streams. It's not going to be a load of people on Twitter being like, well, Nicholas Deorio tweeted this out, so therefore it's a full of that. Like, dude, now I need to go and watch it. Anybody who's thinking that, or is that level with Nick, is going to be watching his streams, surely.
I disagree, but we don't even have to continue because there's going to be hard for us to prove that. I disagree.
Okay.
But it being like a 30-second statement in a stream instead of being crystallized in the same way the tweet was, I think that does a lot. He boosted in the algorithm.
Okay, but we're wheeling around to credibility stuff on Deorio from months ago, which we have talked about before. And again, I have publicly said, because like I'm not a million miles away from you on this position, right? Because I've publicly said the stuff that like within that video, I'm making doxing allegations without any fucking hard evidence presented or still presented is fucking retarded, right? I'm not a million miles away from this, from you on this, but like I'm trying to like, I guess like where we're at now with this Chud stuff feels different, unless your like point is Nicholas burned Chud because of Willie, which I don't think is the case.
No, my whole point is that Nicholas, when he doesn't engage with things, when things are happening that would be against his principles, his stated principles, and he doesn't engage, it's because he likes the thing that's happening. He thinks the person deserves it, right? So when Tommy is saying all of these things about Chud, maybe not even against his principles, but when Tommy's saying this stuff about Chud, and Tommy is literally saying like, yeah, Nick thinks this, everybody thinks this about you. Nick doesn't come out and disavow it because he likes that that's happening. He's not unaware of it. He just likes what's happening. Just like when he didn't disavow the Willie video, he likes the outcome from the Willie video.
So you think that Nick was sat there going, "Oh, thank God, Tommy's gone after Chud because I don't want to."
Wait. You understand that if he didn't believe that stuff, if he didn't think that, he could have just said, "Actually, I didn't say that, but I'm not going to get more involved. I'll just correct lies, but I'm not going to." That's obviously what you are like bound to do in any friendship, right? You have two friends who are fighting with each other. One of them invokes your friendship in something you've said to them to attack the other person. If you haven't said that, you correct them, right?
Did he even comment
Even
on
if you
it
have
at
said
all?
that, you might say, well, don't pull me into this.
I don't. Do you know what? I don't think Nick even watched it.
Did Nick?
Yeah, did Nick even comment on this Tommy Chud fallout? Why?
I don't know if he commented
why would
on it,
he?
but Tommy
I mean,
is
I'm
invoking,
trying to like no, like like if somebody
because Tommy is using his word to impugn Chud's credibility.
I would need to see the clip,
So
and
this
I'd
goes
also
back to
need to see if
the
there's any like
example.
evidence of Nick ever seeing this or caring. Why does it matter? Like, why does hold on? Why does it matter? Like, how close do you think Nick and Tommy are these days? Because Nick's not like jumping on SFTP much.
Close enough that Tommy is. If they're not close, this doesn't get better for you, right? If they're not close, and he says he's trying to keep a line open with Chud, then why wouldn't he correct it? He did see it.
Okay.
The further away they get, the more impetus he has to correct it, right?
So okay. So what's the argument here that Chud? I'm just trying to follow the line. So Nick
the
was meant to
is
get
that
on
Nicholas
and defend
liked
Chud.
Chud's credibility being attacked, and he was totally fine with his word being used to attack Chud's credibility. He never corrected it.
I think Nick, my impression is that he's sick of like people around him fighting and him getting dragged into it, which is exactly what Nick said. So Nick not wanting to get involved is exactly in line with what Nick has said that he wants. He just like, don't involve me in this shit.
Yeah. I don't think
he was
involve me in this shit.
like, he's not coming out and
But
supporting.
you understand you're involved when somebody lies about the things you say, or they invoke you to attack somebody else's credibility. You have now been involved. So you take, if it's a lie, you correct it. Or if it's something you stand on, you just say, yeah, like that happened. Maybe it's a little different, but don't involve me anymore. Right? Letting it happen implicitly says you agree with it and you're good with it.
So wait, hold on. By that standard, every time
apparently
that
Aiden leaked that him and Nick talked about the Tommy and Chud stuff at VidCon, so Nick was aware of it.
Okay, well, again, kind of who cares? I see. Okay, here's part of my thing with this. Like the accusation around Nick.
I'm going to be such a debate pedophile here, but
okay.
when you say I don't even know this or that, and then I give you some piece of information that proves this or that, and you say I don't even know if I care, that is rough for me.
Okay, so my
I'm
issue...
sorry, I don't want to be a debate pedophile,
sure,
but you
sure.
understand, right?
The issue I have is I'm not sure what Nick is supposed to do, because, like, okay, so Nick's options here are essentially come out publicly, and, like, let's say Nick is annoyed over, like, the Chud's Willy coverage or whatever. So the option would be either Nick comes out publicly and burns his relationship with Chud, or Nick comes out publicly to defend Tommy. Now, let's say you're right, and Nick was like, yeah, sure, I disagree with Chud's coverage, and, like, whatever, it's really annoyed me, it's caused problems, I don't know why Chud's going down this route. Like, his only option then is to go and burn Chud publicly, right? Or burn Tommy publicly. Those are the two choices you're given. Or he can just go, I'm just staying out of it. I want to maintain my friendship with Chud, even if I disagree with him.
Tommy's the person who's taken his word and put it in public. You burn the person who tries to invoke you, right?
Well, not if you like, let's say you agree with them in some way, or you just want to get involved, or you're just like, listen,
Thank you.
this is small like shit
Yes.
drama, and I don't want to get involved in it.
So obviously, no, it's no small shitter. You said it right the first time. Yes, you agree with it, you like it, you're fine with it. And that's my reasoning for why Chud is totally justified to respond. Because if Nick didn't agree with it, he would have said something. Because he agrees with it, it is a credibility attack.
But you're missing the point.
Nick's word.
It's not about justified in responding. It's about it's dumb to respond. It's not about justification. There are plenty of things that people are justified in doing that it's still a dumb thing to do. Like, my point isn't Chud was wrong to respond on some ethical level. It's like
Tommy is speaking with Nick's voice there. And he's speaking with that voice to content creators. As you said, that's his goal. He is saying to a bunch of content creators, Nick doesn't like this guy anymore. Do you think Chud shouldn't respond to this?
Yes, I think Chud shouldn't have responded to it. I think responding to it rather...
It's a direct credibility attack that's being lent weight by Nick's reputation. Why should he not respond to that?
Because the point is that, like, the underlying point is you, like, and Tommy does this. In one of the streams, he's like, well, wait, if it's not true, why are you spending so much time spiraling over it? It's like, that was a stream watched by barely fucking anybody. And Tommy has, like, at the time, like 100 concurrents. Like, they said, like, Tommy is long past it. So Chud giving it the time of day on a far larger platform is just signal boosting it. I'm not talking about the ethics of whether you respond. I'm saying, like, if Chud hadn't responded, it wouldn't have led to anything. It would just die in the pan. And many of the, like, the relationships that were burnt at the time for him, like Tom, like Willie, were already burnt. There's no,
you know it's not going to die in the pan. You know it's not going to die in the pan.
Why not?
There's a sickly Jewish kid in my chat right now who wouldn't let it die, almost certainly. But beyond that, or...
But, like, hold on. But I'm talking about Chud responding. I'm not talking about Queeman responding to it. I'm talking about Chud responding to it. Because the minute, like, Chud responded
Queeman's like half of Chud's size.
Yes, but it's not about Queeman. Well, it's partly about Queeman, but it's not like a direct attack on Queeman in the same way it was an attack on Chud.
It's a lot about Queeman, isn't it?
It's a lot about Queeman, sure. But, like, again, it's not an attack on Queeman in the same way it's an attack on Chud. I'm just talking about the strategy of it here. Chud gained nothing by responding to it, because he was responding to it in a way that was a response to the audience of what Tommy was saying. But like, and I mean the chat here. But what Tommy was cultivating was, here is what I'm saying about Chud Logic. Look at the way Chud Logic handles stuff. Look at what he's saying about, like, my wife. Look at what he's saying about me being an alcoholic. Look at these person types. This is a guy I thought we were cool with. That was the angle Tommy was taking. By responding to it, you're just signal boosting it rather than just letting it die in the pan. I'm just saying the strategy of, like, you just ignore that shit. And we all do this, by the way. There are all things that, like, people will say about you, and you just go, I just don't need to respond to that. It's irrelevant. It doesn't have any impact on me.
Try to find me an example where somebody who's very close to a massive creator that you're close to is saying that massive creator thinks you have no credibility, thinks you're a lying snake, and then you don't respond or somebody doesn't respond. You can't find that example. If it's somebody with no credibility, as in they can't speak with that person's voice, it's just a schizophrenic, then maybe you have an argument. But Tommy does speak to Nick. Tommy was speaking to Nick all the time. Willie was in Tommy's chat for some of these streams.
Sure. But again, like what's the... from my own experience here, and from yours, there have been plenty of times where we have responded where we probably shouldn't have done. I shouldn't have responded to a lot of the Willie stuff at the time. It didn't do me any favors. It just, like, burnt relationships for me.
Oh, apparently Nick was in chat for some of those streams too, in Tommy's chat.
Okay, sure. But it's like, okay, sure. So, I don't know what... So what's the line here? So should Nick have just burnt Chud months ago?
Rather than, like, running around behind the scenes talking shit, yeah, probably.
Well, was he running around behind the scenes talking shit? Because, I'm closer to these communities and I haven't seen
How did Tommy find out about any of this? How did Tommy find out about any of this?
Would you... Well, again, it could be a conversation. It could be something, like, taken out of context. It could be through Willie. Could be through anyone. Like, it could be that Nick said something offhand about being annoyed at some of Willie's coverage. It could be Tommy running with something. Who knows?
But again, as soon as Tommy crystallizes it, he puts it into words, and then Nick is around, Nick is seeing it, Nick knows it's happening. Then Nick agrees with it if he's not going to correct anything, right?
Okay, maybe Nick did agree with it. I don't really understand what the argument here is. If Nick's out here reaching out to Chud and trying to resolve things privately, if you and I had an issue and I said something in like a private chat about you and I was like, oh fuck me, JSTLK did this thing, but I'm not saying anything publicly and I'm still talking to you and I'm like, hey man, I have an issue with like what you're saying here, which is what Nick did, by the way. Like he's reaching out to Chud in DMs. If Nick's doing all that, like I don't get what. Like, so Nick had an issue, so he should have instantly burnt the bridge. It could just be that Nick was like, Chud's wrong on this thing with Willie, and I want to defend Willie. Or, like, I agree with Willie. But that's, I don't know. The argument seems to be, like, Nick's meant to, like, escalate horrifically and, like, burn his entire relationship with Chud to the ground over this. I just think that's a little bit fucking extreme. They weren't just, like, making content around each other. These two were friends. They had...
I think... Probably, if you think there's a friendship there, in my opinion, you say, well, that's not true. I don't think Chud's like a snake who can't be trusted. And then you reach out again and try to talk to him. Right? You could easily, we could think of a way you could easily do this with Tommy, that doesn't burn either of them. Tommy, I was venting about something that's kind of related.
I disagree. I disagree. The minute anyone says anything publicly, I said something about Tommy the other day, and multiple people ran to Tommy's chat to be like, Beckett's talking shit about you. Like, it's like there is an actual situation now where no one really can say anything publicly, because let's say Nick had done that and been like, yeah, I don't think Chud Logic's a snake, then all that would have happened would a million people would have run, and obviously that's an exaggeration, would have run to Tommy trying to further stir the pot and like make this more than it was. And this is part of the problem with the response at all. It's not just like happening in a vacuum or an isolation between a couple of content creators. It's happening with a couple of content creators, with people on both sides who want to see this fight happen, like who just want to see the fire start.
Sure. I mean, I might be one of those people. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Well, yeah, sure. So again, like if Nick said something publicly, let's say that happened. Nick said, Chud Logic's not a snake. Don't know what you're talking about. You'd go live and then be like, this is a clip from Nick disavowing Tommy, right?
I'm saying that there's an easy way you can make that statement. It's like, I understand why I was venting. There's an easy way that Tommy could have misunderstood this. I think he misunderstood it slightly. I was mad at Chud over like some comment he made. It's not that big a deal. People could farm that, but I mean, people farm shit all the time.
Sure.
I don't think that burns either of them.
But okay, sure. I just don't see, like, again, I think this would have escalated far more publicly if Nick had said anything at the time. It seems that from Nick's DMs, he was trying to keep that relationship
as opposed to totally
over.
Pretending it wasn't happening, and both of these avoidant retards avoiding any conflict for months. And we haven't gotten to a public place.
Well, we seem to be at a public place now, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Is keeping this private didn't really seem to solve anything. Sort of just kept it below.
My argument would be again, like my argument would be like this should have been solved privately, because it's a friendship drama, or they should have jumped on a stream with a neutral moderator and had a controlled conversation, right? I don't know why. Yeah. I don't like this argument of like Nick needed to get on Chud's stream. I think that's fucking retarded, because we all know how that would have gone. I do not think
Chud is arguing that. I think you're totally disingenuous.
No, I don't think Chud's arguing that, but I think other people in my chat have said this. I think there are people who are like, why won't Nick just get on a Chud stream?
They say,
right?
If they say Chud stream, I'm almost positive they just mean get on any stream and talk publicly.
Sure, and they should have.
By the way,
I don't think they should have had a public conversation about this at all. It's clearly a behind the scenes friendship drama, and they should have just like fucking talked about it privately. And again, I've said this multiple times tonight. They should have been done months ago, and they should have resolved the issue, and they didn't. And here we are.
Yeah, sure. I think I would also criticize Chud for dropping the ball there on reaching out. Like he said, we could do the call, and then Nick says okay, and then a day later Nick says like, okay, we could do the call this week. And then Chud doesn't hit him back. I don't know what was going on there. I think that's on Chud, but it's like one of those things where it's still on both people to like talk at some point.
Well, Nick seems to still be reaching out to Chud,
I think
right?
yeah, but I think it's like it's kind of fucked up that Chud is. Do you disagree? Like, how much of Nick's thing have you watched?
I
with
watched the
leaked
whole
DMs?
thing before stream, so yeah. I know.
Okay.
Again, I was getting
So I think
DM'd by
Chud
people
is-
and shit, but like if I've missed something, you can point me to it. But go on.
Yeah, sure. Do you disagree that like the thing that's happening that Chud's describing, his problem is that he has two problems. He doesn't just have one problem. He's got two problems. He's got one problem is I think people in my chat want us to fight. The other problem is he genuinely thinks Nick is sweeping for Ethan, and by not saying anything, he is in fact sweeping for Nick, right? And these two problems actually can't both be resolved. They literally like work against each other. Any resolution that you go towards with one actually fucks with the other. So if he says anything about Nick's coverage of Ethan, that's going to make their relationship worse. It's going to give people more ammo for the fight. And if he tries to just not say anything, it gives people way more ammo to say, hey, you won't even call out your friend who's sucking this guy's cock. Right? And he will actually be doing that. That's the other thing Nick doesn't seem to understand, is that Chud is not worried about people saying he's a sweeper. People say he's a sweeper over everything, right? Chud didn't call Turkey Tom like a diaper maxing pedophile immediately, and people would have called him a sweeper for that, right?
Sure.
It's about he would be actually sweeping in this case. That's the problem, is he's actually sweeping. He's actually like not calling out something that he thinks is wrong. And Nick never helps him resolve that. Nick never helps him resolve that at all. There's like one case where he's like, oh, here are like some things people sometimes accuse me. I don't even know if the DMs are cut off there. He's like, I think I can't remember. He lists like some general problems he's probably seen people bitch at him on Twitter for. Not even like the biggest issues with some of his coverage.
Okay.
But he wants to talk about that
Sure.
in private. He wants to talk about the problems with his coverage in private, while Chud has to stay silent in public. Chud has to not call Nick out for the problems he has in public.
But
You understand that's putting Chud in a bad position, right?
But Chud's not covering the Ethan Hassan Destiny stuff, and seems to have wanted to stay away from
Why?
that drama.
Do
you think that Chud
maybe
didn't
I'm
cover
reading
the
into
Ethan
it, but I
Hassan
think there's
Destiny
a
stuff
reason he doesn't want to do it.
What? Because he thinks it would lead to conflict between like him and Nick. Okay, well then isn't that a situation which he's created rather than going? Because again, I've disagreed with.
I can't
hold
speak
on,
for
I've
him. I don't know. I can't speak for him.
But I know
right?
other people who have disagreed with Nick on the Ethan Hassan Destiny stuff, myself included. I literally sat here and said that anybody who was like sweeping or protecting or like supporting this lawsuit was out of their fucking mind. I didn't have any issues. I said this very publicly. Multiple times within commentary. There was never any problem with it.
Did you call out the chief? Did you call out the sweeper in chief directly by name?
I said that Nick seems to have moved on his ecosystem points, and I don't think that's like, I'm like, fair enough, like you can do what you want, but I just think that yeah, anybody defending these lawsuits is crazy for doing so. It's damaging to all of us. Yes, including Nick, including Willie, including everybody. Yes. And do you know what? I didn't get any blowback for it. I got blowback from like fucking Ethan's audience, and I think like from tomfoolery. But everyone else was like, yeah, that's fine. Beckett's just not on this content. I was very open, very public about it. I was when people were talking pretty regularly. So it was fine. I think you can do that. Yes.
If you show enough deference to Nick, you can probably criticize him sometimes.
Okay.
Right? You can't possibly disagree that if you're like kind of in your face, if you are not very gentle with your criticisms with Nick, you will be like nexted instantly, right?
I think it depends on your relationship to Nick. I think like again, Chud was definitely in a position where he could be. I don't think the issue was like whether Chud was criticizing Nick. I think the issue was like whether this was like led by Chud like leaning on his chat and other people, because it's not happening in a vacuum, right? Chud has a large contingent of people who want him to fight with Nick. So like from Nick's perspective, the question is that Chud giving an honest take, or is that Chud just being like, okay, well this is what my audience wants to do, and that's the audience captured accusation, right? And also to be clear, just talking about like disagreeing and showing deference and everything else. Sure, there are elements to this where you can make those arguments, but like I ended up in a pretty bloody spat with Willie, and that soured like some relationships, But the person who came out and defended me was Deorio, at a time when he had no fucking reason to. And I don't mean just publicly, I mean privately, Deorio defended me to people. Like, Deorio defended me to fucking Willie. Didn't work, didn't play out in the long term. But, like, he had no reason to fucking do that. Because again, at the time, everyone wanted me to burn Sunday, and I refused to fucking do it. So I'm not sure I entirely buy this from my own experience, and I was a much less close to Deorio than fucking Chud was. That you couldn't talk about Nick. That, like, Chud could never say anything, otherwise he'd, like, end that relationship. I
couldn't say anything. I was saying you have to be respectful in your criticisms.
Well, again, if you're friends with somebody, like well, what do you mean by respectful? Like, if I don't know.
I mean that Chud threw in a throwaway line, and then I believe he either followed that up or I think must have followed that up with like a total defense of Nicholas, right? I'm actually good friends with Nicholas. Fuck you guys. It's the same stream, right? Where he says, Nicholas Deorio, yes, Nicholas Deorio, I'm talking to you.
But isn't there a certain element of that with... hold on, isn't there a certain element with all... It's like, again, I think Chud handled certain things like with the Tommy stuff badly. And I think that this is like a complete fucking shit show. But I've got the provisos in this string of like, well, listen, I've spent years defending like this community to people, and I've lost relationships because of my relationship to like people like Queeman and Chud's community. So those provisos are still there. Am I showing deference? I think I'm just being honest to point out, like, if, like, again, there are plenty of people who accuse me of sweeping for Queeman. And it's like, look, if I think Queeman's wrong on something, which I have done, by the way, particularly like look at some of the fucking Tiger stuff, I will argue with Queeman. It's like, again, I don't think that people treating Queeman like a fucking boogeyman's kind of fucking retarded. But at the same time, in this case...
Can we find some of those people? Because I'm pretty sure Queeman would love to engage with their criticism. I'm pretty sure Queeman wouldn't just like block them on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm sure he would as well.
Them wherever he could.
I'm sure he would as well.
Queeman would actually like engage with the criticism, right?
Yeah, sure. And like, again, I think that part of this
that's like a big part of the issue, right?
I think, okay. So yeah, sure. I get that. There's definitely a change and a move. But the way, like, commentary generally, not just the commentary community, but commentary generally seems to have shifted pretty fucking hard, right? I was saying before I came on here, I know that there are going to be people in your chat who, whatever I say during this, no matter how reasonable, no matter how logical, it's like it won't move the goalposts because everyone's sides are picked. In the same way that no matter what you say during this conversation, my chat is going to fucking side with me. So like because like the audience overlap just doesn't exist in the same way. There is much more of a tribal like break than there used to be. So there's not the same value to going and having a conversation. Why put yourself in a position where you're just going to get like fucked for the conversation? Like, I'll do it because I like talking to you and I don't really give a fuck what your chat thinks. But like realistically, like, what's the benefit? Like, what's the gain? I'm not going to gain any viewers off this. All I'm going to do is gain hate. You're not going to gain any viewers on my side of this.
Because the whole idea is like we both have. So the reason I value this conversation is because I think probably I really dislike Nicholas. I'm going to see the faults in everything he does, and you like Nicholas, so you're going to see the faults in either things other people do, or you're going to see some like positive silver linings in things he does, and then I can come on and actually talk to you and get a good understanding of like how somebody with a different perspective sees him and the situation.
I said this before, right? Do you want to come on so it's a bit more balanced? Right, I'd rather have the balance there. I completely agree with you. But like from the perspective of like some of this drama, like we're talking about with like Nick and Chud and like other things, it's like, well, how valuable is that other side? How genuine is that other side? Also with a friendship drama, why the fuck would anyone debate this publicly? It's not really giving us perspective between the two of them.
Because it's literally like the entire... Is that not the entire thing here? We talk about shit like this like publicly all the time. Even though it's, you know, you're from art commentary. Isn't this like 95% of the content?
Yeah.
But it's also people on who talk about this, or
yeah, but they're but it's retarded to do that. You shouldn't do that. It's a really bad idea. In fact, I mean, and again, you and I have had conversations about like just general like, meta or life things, or like stuff around content, or like where people say same way lots of content creators do. Sure. But that doesn't need to be shrink on it. Or when we've disagreed over some of the Cherry stuff, not all of that needed to be public, because some of it's just like a concern over these things. It doesn't need to be content. And like, I think that there are plenty of situations.
I don't even recall what you're talking about that didn't get talked about publicly. I feel like everything we talked about
I
privately,
think,
we also talked about on a stream once, like Resi there.
yeah, I think we've done deeper stuff, but it's like, it's not the same situation. I guess I'm trying to draw an illusion. It's not the same as having, like, let's say you and I fell out over something that happened. I don't know. Let's say I was talking a lot of shit about you, and you were like, "Hey, Beckett, I'm really not happy about the shit you're talking about me. I thought we were cool." I don't know. It's one of those where, oh shit, man. Sorry, I didn't realize. Let's just have a quick call. We can just hash it out. And maybe I'm being a bit too harsh. Maybe I'm taking influence from another creator,
Yeah.
or like where your position is. But that seems to have been offered
Sure.
to Chud. Chud seems to have not wanted to have those conversations privately, at least from the DMs. And this is like, I don't know,
Well,
you know,
so
I
you understand
know
that
how
is
difficult
like,
it is to get a response out of Deorio. It seems like Chud was getting responses out of Deorio on multiple platforms. They had an open channel.
That's
They had
putting
an
you in
open
a
line.
tough spot, though, right? Like, imagine I give you private information that makes you take like a public stance that you can't really defend because of the private information. What do you do now?
What,
I
you
put
mean
you
like
in a
the New
weird
Year's Eve
position,
stream?
right? Possibly. I don't know what you're
Okay.
referencing for the New Year's Eve stream.
Nothing. I'm just saying. I mean, because that was the issue around the New Year's Eve stream, right? People had private information in differing levels
was
of
it?
private information. They had because of the Pixie Erudite DMs. There was a massive disparity in who knew what during that stream. That's why the fucking
Was
fight
there?
happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a massive disparity in who knew what during that stream and how much information people had. The person who had the most information
Okay.
at that time was Chud Logic.
Wait, was the fight over something to do with that information?
It's because the general thing is Tom was put in a position of talking about this without the same level of information.
By who?
Well, okay, not just by Chud, because Nick brought it up in a joke, but rather than dropping the conversation, Chud begins
And then
debating
somebody
the point
else
because
like
he
actually
knows.
got the conversation going.
Yeah, but at the same
Right.
time, it's like you back out of that conversation. I'm not saying, like, again, that I said earlier in the stream, that whole thing was fucking retarded, and that everyone involved in it should have been way more careful
Wait.
if they weren't going to talk about it publicly. But regardless, that's the accusation around it. It's like you had more information than us, and talked about it. It's like took a much harder stance than everyone else when this stuff you knew wasn't public. That's the general accusation. It's not just you brought up
Okay.
the Destiny stuff.
Maybe. I mean, I'm pretty sure Chud was just pushing back on Tom. With Tom specifically, wasn't it that like Melina was actually an OnlyFans girl and kind of a whore? And so, do you think like any of the Pixie DMs helped with that?
Well, it was to do with, I'd have to rewatch the stream because it seemed to be to do with more than that, because Chud was like, no, he's guilty. He's obviously guilty of more than just this Melina stuff. I don't know why we're leaning on this Melina stuff. And again, I'm doing this a bit from memory. I'd have to rewatch.
He said, well, because yeah, and if anybody wants to correct me on this, I believe it was Tom saying that like he didn't believe Melina because Melina had come out and said none of that was consensual. I didn't consent to any of those pictures being released. And then Tom said, "Oh, I don't know about that. You got like an OnlyFans and shit, right?" And Chud kind of jumped in there and was like, "Come on, man." Right?
Yeah, but that's very much.
I'm
because
pretty
Chud
sure
was
that's
leaning towards
basically
other stuff.
the way it went down.
Yeah, okay, because I don't want to start misquoting things from a stream that was like over a year
Yeah, sure.
ago.
I was just this is what I remember.
Again,
so
this
that
is
could
like
even be wrong.
yeah, this is just like because it was a long conversation. But yeah, like the annoyance came down to people feeling, and maybe Tom, maybe others, that Tom was put in a position where he was being picked at over information he either didn't know and people couldn't correct because the actual sort of proof, if you like, wasn't made public and no one knew what to do with the DMs. And that's and as I said earlier, this is one of the reasons I released them. They were a fucking cognito hazard. Knowing about them was a problem. I mean, what's your view then on things like, you know, if Nick's trying to keep this line open with Chud, is that not like a fair way to do it? He's not like cutting him off completely. If other people don't want to do like jump on a Chud Logic stream, is that Nick's responsibility? Like, what's the level of blame we're placing here, I guess?
I can only speak to, like, it depends on what they thought of each other in terms of being friends, being peers, right?
I mean, they seem to have
Like,
been
I could
very,
say
very
that
close.
if I knew,
So,
yeah, if I knew, like, my friend, like, somebody who was my friend was, like, kind of getting fucked over in a way, and I was in group chats where this guy's getting, like, shit talked, getting called a snake, somebody goes live, starts calling him a snake, starts invoking my name, other people's name, I go to try to clean that up, because, like, despite the fact that we're having a fight, it's like that's what you do when you're friends, and you clean it up, and then you fix that a little bit, and then you separate. That's my personal, but I mean, that's just me. I can't say that's like a moral requirement for most people. I don't think you just let those people talk shit because this guy refuses to come and like kiss the ring sufficiently to come and like apologize and do the call and hash this all out in private.
yeah, I mean,
but again, if you don't see each other as peers or friends, then maybe that all makes sense. It just depends on how they see each other, right?
I don't know. Isn't there like a separate thing there of like Nick's being concerned in the same way Chud is, that it's like we're sweeping for your friends, and it's like getting involved. Nick's bias towards Chud is pretty publicly known.
Wait, say that again. How is his bias coming into effect?
Because everyone knows that Nicholas Deorio and Chud are friends. So him stepping in at all is like, well, you know, this has come as a shock to a lot of viewers. They weren't aware that Chud and Nick had fallen out at all, right? So it's not like it's not like Nick's been openly trying to fucking fuck over Chud logic or anything. No one had any clue until Nick started taking shots back, like at the start of the year.
No, wait. No, we did have a clue from the Tommy stuff.
Not to any significant degree, because no one else guessed this, did they? No one else was sat there being like, well, of course Chud and Nick have fallen out. Like, go back and watch Nick's chat. Nick's chat is like, wait, what's going on? Why don't we like Chud now? What's happened? What's happened with Chud? Like, the whole audience is like fucking surprised. Even now, after tonight, people are like, oh, I didn't even realize that Chud and Nick weren't cool. I thought they were besties. So, like, clearly, again,
Yeah, but wait,
it's not like it's not like a significant thing that people are massively aware of.
maybe it's just like your side is not aware of it because you guys don't talk about it. I don't know. Literally every single chatter or person I know is super aware of this.
Okay, but at the same time, hold on, if anyone's in that sort of echo chamber, wouldn't it be your guys' side? Could you guys like fucking hate Nick and everyone else? You guys are talking about this constantly. Is it okay? So is
Wait,
it? So
but you
where's
didn't even disagree. You don't even disagree with my point in a vacuum about like Nick probably wanted that to happen. You didn't even disagree with that.
Okay, well, I'm saying I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he disagreed over the Willy stuff and was pissed off about it. Who fucking knows? But my point is, wait, what was Chud's responsibility then if they're friends? So if you're saying that Nick had a responsibility to come out through all this like Ethan Hassan Destiny stuff, where Nick's getting a load of shit from everybody in Queeman and his own chat and community, surely then Chud should be the one coming out and saying, no, Nick's coverage is fine and you're all like, you need to chill. And I'm talking early,
but that's the problem,
right?
is he's letting Nick know in private, I don't think your coverage is fine. And he's literally saying, my problem here is that I don't want to come out and say that because it's going to feed the other problem. So what do? I feel really raped.
I mean, ultimately, that's, I guess, from the position of like where Chud was sat, I don't know. I like either come out or shut up. Really, it's sort of like if I disagree with somebody I'm friendly with, in the same way when I disagreed with Nick,
he
I'm
definitely
in
should
the
have
worst
just come out
position.
immediately,
I just came out and said public. I mean, yeah, to an extent, sure, but it's kind of ended up as this weird fucking drip feed.
Yeah, he got the worst of all worlds, right? Like, he held off criticizing the guy, so it's pretty obvious that he was sweeping for Nick back then. And he also gets, like, fucked over now and the friendship ends. So all the sweeping was, like, for nothing.
Well, I suppose
kind of
part of the problem is it's like,
there.
how much does it matter? How much does this Ethan Hassan Destiny shit matter to Chud? Like, or Nick's coverage matter to Chud? Because, like, I don't think Chud actually really cares if, like, one of his friends is doing coverage and he's like, I just disagree with it. Why would he? Why the fuck would it matter? if you do coverage of something and I disagree with you, and I'm like, it's not like something I'm covering. Like right now within the ACC, there are people who are doing coverage of like a couple of things happened, and I was like, okay, I think that's a bit raped in that direction, but it's not really that important. It's whatever. I'm not covering it, so I don't need to talk about it. Like, it's have at it. Why? I don't think.
I don't think it's like a surface level. Like, I think we could agree to disagree thing here, right? He's basically saying you're like sweeping, probably a lot of financial reason to sweep. It's probably not stuff that are like is super comfortable, right? I would imagine those would be his criticisms. Like, it's not super easy to just throw those. I don't know. I think he should have, but it's pretty clear he's like talking to Nick about it, and he's like not sure where to go with it. At least it seemed pretty clear to me.
But is that?
And then I don't know why they get to the point where it's like broken down before they ever make the call.
Well, neither do I. I think that's retarded. But at the same time, it's like I don't know what's a good way to put this. I don't know why it matters, and it seems the only reason it would matter is because of audience pressure, right? Would you agree with that? Because Chud's under audience pressure to talk about it?
No. Nope. I think, hold on, it's literally that he tangibly disagrees. If he doesn't tangibly disagree with Nick on anything, I don't think that he succumbs to audience pressure, because when he didn't disagree with Nick on stuff, his audience still fucking hated Nick. His audience has fucking hated Nick for like a year now. Like, since before the Destiny stuff leaked, they've hated Nick. They constantly shit talk him anytime he's in that chat. Yeah,
but they hold on, but they shit talk any content creator.
The like 5 to 10 spicy chat unks have hated this guy forever. Okay, for like
sure, but
over
like,
a year now.
But people get shit talked in Chud's chat all the time, and I suppose this is one of the reasons that I'd point to the fact that I said I thought something like this was going to happen years ago, because the same shit happened with Twitch politics. Like, if you go back and listen to the old Rhizome stream where he's talking to Chud about spicy chat, it's you're harboring this community, and it's like, and again, I said during this stream, I don't think you should care what other people's audiences think of you. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's retarded. But content creators do. This shouldn't come as a surprise to Chud that this has been the outcome, because this has been the outcome for Chud's relationships with other content creators multiple times now. This isn't new. It's exactly what's happened before.
I don't know if he's surprised.
Well, he's saying he's surprised on stream.
You're
right?
describing what happens when narcissists get criticized. By the way, you know that, right? Like you're literally like obviously. Are we pretending?
Yeah, are we pretending that streamers and YouTubers aren't like? Isn't this tailored to narcissists? Sure,
it is. But I'm saying that like that's what's going on there. It's not something you should be like, oh, that's fine, and you.
Okay, but
you should expect
it.
But it's like a negative behavior from them.
But on the same level, at some degree, it's like, okay, well, you know that's going to be the outcome, and that's why when you're dealing with friends or people you're close with, you are more careful with those relationships because you know it's going to be a problem. You can say that's cucked, but that's how most people are.
Isn't that literally why he defended Nicholas like every single time his chat was going in on that guy for months and months?
I don't watch enough Chud to say that. Like, it seems to me that it would like lots of little shots, and wasn't the criticism here that like I don't know.
Wait, what are the lots of little shots? I asked that. I was like, are there like a whole bunch of things he's not referring to? Where are the other little shots?
So it's things like Deorio gets brought up in chat, and Chud will take a little shot over a little something that Nick said on Twitter, or there's a tweet somewhere, and like the same way that like Chud does with a lot of people. I don't think this is like an issue. It's just I think there is an element here where there's maybe a British element to this shit, where it's like, you know, you're friendly with somebody, so you take those little shots. But I'd have to go through and see a lot of them. But yeah, it seemed like this was a pretty constant thing. And it felt like to people like, from what I've heard, that once you're the content, regardless of your relationship with Chud, you're going to get the same you're going to get talked about in exactly the same way as like anyone who's getting raped. Chud is aggressive, and and that's not going to play well to everybody. And I think that's one of the reasons that his like relationship started to break down. I mean, because the other accusation was that Chud brought up the Bo Black stuff on the like the dress wearing thing on the New Year's stream, which everyone had agreed to keep quiet. And again, I've said this publicly. I truly believe Chud just didn't know whether that was public or not. I don't think he was trying to leak anything to cause drama. But yeah, I think also some of it's culture stuff where it's like, is he really one of us? Which is, happens in a lot of communities. But to like return to like I guess the core point, it's like, yes, you know that you're dealing with people where if you say something, especially about a friend, especially about somebody you have a good relationship with, that's going to be clipped. It's going to be used against them. So you're careful about it. You have to be. If I said something about fucking Queeman, people are going to clip that and then send it to Queeman, or like post it in whatever his farm chat is. Or if I say something about Aiden, or if I say something about anybody, like we know how this works. It's not a mystery.
Are you worried about that like ending the friendship when it's literally just like a meme? Are you sincerely worried about that like ending a friendship?
I think that there would be certain situations where like I would be very careful about what I said with certain things. Yeah, like with certain people and certain dramas, depending on what's going on with them. Yeah, I'd be aware of, that's probably going to, I know this person, that's going to piss them off and they're dealing with all this other shit because they've got personal relationships. I might be a bit more careful just because they're my friend. It's like nothing to do with drama or something. It's just like, if this person's getting a load of shit, I'm probably not going to poke at them or feed the fire in any way because they're dealing with other stuff. Is that not normal?
Wait, but wouldn't it depend on like, wouldn't it literally just depend on how justifiable that criticism is? Like, I don't know, I can't come up with a perfect metaphor off the top of my head, but it's like you are basically like Chud clearly made it very clear he felt like he was sweeping for Nick in those DMs. Do you disagree with that?
I'd have to reread the DMs. I think that I think it's clear that Chud feels like he's caught between his relationship with Nick and his audience. Yeah.
It's not the audience. He's not scared of his audience. He calls Stylo like a house N-word all the time. He's not scared of Stylo. We know he's not scared of Stylo, right?
I'm not saying scared.
And Stylo's like the biggest Nick hater.
I didn't say scared. I never used the word scared. Other people have used the word scared. I didn't use the word scared.
Caught between when you say caught between his relationship with Nick and his audience, that implies that he's worried about losing one of the two. Well, and it's like he's not worried about those people turning on him in some way, the way Nick implied. What he's worried about is literally being guilty of sweeping when they call him a sweeper this time, it's not just a meme, it's not just a joke, it's not just funny, it's like literally true. That's what he's concerned about.
Okay.
Do you really disagree with that?
Yeah, I really do.
Depending on your
I
really
you
could
do.
watch.
Okay, so
maybe you could watch like my read of the DMs. I think it's pretty clear to me.
Actually, hold on. Give me a second. So,
do you want to try to go through the DMs? Could we get? Does anybody have like an album of the DMs?
Give me 1 second.
I think I'm talking about some of the Twitter DMs and stuff.
Okay, so I don't think that's the case, and I don't think it's just I'm scared of being called a sweeper because I actually am. So I'm not reading the DMs in that direction.
Wait.
And okay, so but I think we're just gonna have to sort of agree to disagree here. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where I don't know what was happening directly in Chud's mind, but do you
think Chud is truly terrified of Perry, the Maltese menace?
I think Chud is very.
Do you agree with that?
I think Chud is very aware of. That's a good way to put this. I think Chud's priority is making content and making money in the same way many content creators are, and he is aware of his audience perceptions and doesn't want to just like. He memes about this, but the ice stuff and the Charlie Kirk take around Asmongold, like that annoyed him. Like it obviously fucking annoyed him when he lost audience over that. And he's got sections of his audience that like do strongly disagree and will have like retarded takes that would like, obviously no one is trying to burn section of their audience en masse, except for maybe me when I get pissed off. And again, I can afford to do that because I don't take a paycheck. But this is his livelihood.
I've
Yes.
been reading some of your. You've got like a median IQ of like 85 in this chat.
Oh my fucking god,
very
we're not
tragic.
doing.
I understand why
Why
you
the
try to
fuck
burn
are
them
you
off.
reading my chat? Why the fuck are you reading my chat? God, dude, you're so cocked.
I enjoy it. You could pull any of these people in. I would love that. It would be very funny.
Okay, buddy. Yeah. So anyway, we're just gonna have to agree to disagree.
Sure. On that one, yeah, I guess if that's the case.
Yeah. I think that ultimately, like, this blow up
Okay.
was predictable, but at the same time, like, they should have resolved it months ago. Both of them should have done, and they seem to have had opportunities, and neither of them took it.
Yeah, sure.
And also, there is another thing.
I'm just sitting here like
Nick.
I think totally dodging any of this Tommy C stuff was like tragic from Nicholas to pretend that wasn't a thing, to pretend that Chud should have just ignored it. That's like the take I'm disagreeing with here overall.
Oh, okay.
Is the idea
so,
that
again,
Chud should take that credibility attack that's using Nick's name to lend weight to it, and he should not respond to it. That to me is insane.
Yeah, I think it's just really obvious from my perspective what Tommy was trying to do, and that's why Chud should have ignored it. Because again, like, you're just feeding the fire. Again, we can disagree
do you not think
on
it
this.
signals to every content creator that Chud is actually guilty there of something if he doesn't respond to this guy saying, "Hey, I'm in group chats with all these guys." Every creator in commentary knows that, right? I'm in group chats with all these guys, and he says, "These guys all hate you. You're a snake." And Chud literally can't respond. It was bad for Chud to respond to that.
It was okay. All Chud needed to say was,
like,
"Well,
not responding looks really bad to me."
All Chud needed to say was, "Well, people can come and talk to me. I'm right here. I wasn't aware of this, but I don't care beyond that." That's all Chud needed to say. He didn't need to do a back and forth. He didn't need to do reactions. That's what looked bad. And again, you can disagree with me on this.
Tommy's calling him duplicitous. Tommy's saying if you do talk to him, if you go and talk to him, you're gonna get fucked over.
But then going live.
Tommy's directly attacking his ability to have those conversations.
But then, then even if that's the case, the way. So, okay.
You agree with that, right?
No, I don't think it matters because he's talking to 100 people. It's fucking irrelevant. He's got no audience overlap with him. It's like Chud, like, again, by Chud responding in a hyper aggressive way to Tommy. If Chud had gone live and been like, "I don't understand why Tommy's doing this. This is really weird. Like, I'm happy to talk to him. Clearly some wires have got crossed. If I've crossed some lines, maybe we can just talk about it and have like a really peaceful conversation. I'm not going to go at Tommy. In fact, I know this to kind of be the case because Tommy C did an even more fucking insane vitriolic attack on me when the Destiny stuff happened. Like, Tommy C directly called for me to be burned from the commentary community. He's like, nobody should talk to Beckett. Fuck Beckett. This guy needs to die. Like, hyper fucking aggressive. I got told about this. I just went, yeah, like, Tommy said this publicly. That's fine. I don't really care.
Did he say that, like, Turkey Tom hates Beckett?
Yeah, he said that multiple people were talking behind the scenes, who I know in commentary.
Did he invoke the names?
I can't remember. I'd have to go back and check.
Did he invoke the names?
I'd have to go back and check. But again, this was like a pretty brutal attack, and all I did was say, "Listen, I'm not offended or anything else." And then like, one of my people who's close with Tommy DM'd me this, and I was like, "Look, I'm happy to talk to Tommy." Had a quick chat with Tommy, and he was like, "Okay, cool." And he just went and apologized the next day. And again, he was directly calling for me to be burned by other content creators from the fucking community.
We all understand Tommy was not going to take an apology for this, right? He didn't want an apology. It's not even remotely the same thing.
I don't know. I'm just giving you my experience here. Like, and again, this is like his.
Sorry,
his
I might have misspoke there. I'm saying he wouldn't have given an apology on this. He was literally just speaking. I don't think anybody really denies that he was just speaking the truth there. All of the creators he's referencing were in his chat for these streams.
Okay, sure. I mean, isn't that even more of a reason to try and like de-escalate this and deal with it privately, rather than booting up a stream and trying to, like, I don't know, lean into it? I just don't. I don't see how Chud wins by responding. What did Chud gain by responding to? Okay, so here's the question: you say Chud was right to respond. How's that fucking turned out for him?
Well, hold on, but you agree with me that the attack on credibility is important. An attack on your credibility is important. They're invoking a bigger creator who you're like kind of friends with to do that, and those creators are co-signing it by being present.
Sure.
then that would be a big thing.
But we're looping here.
If you have tangible, like substantive allegations against you, just not responding to them is very rarely the play. I don't understand how we could possibly say that's the play.
So again, responding to it the way Chud did was the wrong way to respond to it. We're in the aftermath of it, right? There were better ways to handle this than the way Chud did. I'm not saying do like nothing at all. It's like just, but publicly, like the next day, ignore it. Ignore it. I don't understand how this is like. I don't even understand how this is contentious.
So handle it all in private. Let people talk shit about you in public, and handle it all in private in a way that
give it a
benefits
couple of fucking days.
The person
and just
who's
be like,
talking shit about you.
And just be like, look, you can just be like, it doesn't really matter to me. It's whatever. People could come and talk to me. But like, yes, a huge vitriolic stream was the wrong way to handle it. I mean, again, you can see the aftermath, right? This like Chud doing those like streams on Tommy has not hit Tommy particularly hard. It's like Tommy's fine. And at the same time, then other people have used that in Chud's response to further damage Chud. So I don't understand how Chud responding in the way that he
Who's
did.
done that?
Well, Tommy's done that. Willie's done that. Like, I'm sure other people behind the scenes have maybe done that.
I don't think Tommy can do that, can he? If Tommy couldn't do it the first time, certainly he couldn't do it in a follow-up, could he?
What do you mean? What
Tommy couldn't hurt him. Chud could have just ignored. Surely Tommy is irrelevant regardless of what he does, right? Isn't that the argument you're making?
Yeah, but you validate Tommy by responding to him publicly.
What did Willie do?
Well, Willie's like, again,
he was validated by the people. He was validated by people before Chud responded. I don't think you could really deny that. Those people participating validated him.
I think it becomes the wider question of like whether, because people are now doing the thing where it's like, well, Tommy was right again, right? You provide that ammunition. I just think the obvious thing to do in these situations is take a breath and not click the live and be pushed into talking about it right away. You like it seems like handle with care is just sensible advice. I don't know why this is contentious. Clearly,
yeah,
Chud's
I mean, it could be
response to
sensible advice. I'm just saying that, like, having any criticism for Chud's handling that situation that is within an order of magnitude of your criticism for every other creator involved in that situation is silly to me.
Yeah,
like,
but
obviously,
my
every other creator
criticism here
involved
for
there
Chud
is
is to do with
far more wrong. And so saying that I think Chud has handled this wrong is just goofy, I think.
But you're saying wrong. I'm talking about strategy. I'm not talking about ethics or what the right thing to do is, like being a nice person. I'm talking about the strategy of dealing with something.
Well, then, yeah, maybe if you just want to say strategically, Chud could have handled that better, in a less public, like more obscured way. Like possibly he could have gone and kissed the ring behind the scenes and just made this all go away. And Tommy comes out and says, "Oh, actually, I was just drunk again, guys. Ha ha ha." Yeah, probably.
Sure. So that is my core criticism of what I'm saying.
Then he just has to live a completely raped existence.
Okay, sure.
Right?
Sure. But again, like this is people's careers, and like we are down to like how well you can network and talk to people. That's fairly important for a streamer like Chud. So yeah, you're just, like again.
The whole reason I do this shit is because I didn't have to, bro. I could have just stayed in corporate tech. Okay, if I wanted to constantly kiss the ring. Fuck.
Unfortunately, life is lots of ring kissing. Look, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you want like a revised statement that's less ranty, yes, the way Chud dealt with the Tommy stuff strategically was bad. Okay, I'm not talking about the ethics. I'm not talking about how Chud was treated. I'm just saying, strategically, was a dumb move. Okay, and I said it was retarded at the time. You can go back and watch the coverage because people are like, you're sitting on the fence. I was like, nah, that's retarded on both sides. Chud shouldn't be I think I say that when I'm talking about it. Chud shouldn't have responded to it. I said this months ago.
Yeah, no, it's retarded. You say it's retarded between Tommy and Chud.
I think Tommy's. I think Tommy's
doing the same thing with Tommy.
Okay, I mean, like, is this just like a mass like who does Beckett dislike within commentary? I don't think there are many secrets with those, right?
What?
Well, yeah, I mean, like again, I don't think there's many secrets that I've like when other people have done retarded things. I've called it retarded within commentary. Did this with Willie with the doxing stuff and the handling around
saying that...
like Dickers and everything else. Yeah, sure.
What about Dickers?
When Dickers tweeted out, retweeted the Destiny post, and Willie was like, "This guy doxed me," that shit. And I was like, "That's retarded."
Oh yeah, I mean Willie didn't even say. I don't even think he called out Dickers. I think he called out me for retweeting Dickers. To be fair,
Possibly, yeah. I don't know. Fucking hell. Okay.
I mean, sorry, I say I think that is definitely what he did.
Okay.
He called out me for retweeting Dickers.
Okay.
It's fucking retarded.
Yeah, it was retarded. Anyway. Okay.
Yeah, but again, anytime it seems like anytime you're willing to name the retard, that retard is never Nicholas. Which is, I think, just speaks to like a wider. If you want to kneel before Nicholas, you will get his clout, but you always have to kneel before Nicholas. And I think that's like a little goofy, and it's not on the surface. It's not, people don't just generally like say that's the way it is, but it is very obvious that that's the way it is.
Well,
I think it's kind of bullshit.
Hold on a second, because like again, when it comes to Nick, it depends on the situation, and like, what the fuck am I meant to like? I don't know. What the fuck would you have me say about Nicholas that I like? I don't know. I feel like I treat people pretty like similar. I feel like with Chud, I've been pretty defensive of Chud.
Here's
I'm
what you could
defensive
do.
of like Queeman when like he's
Well,
in those positions.
Well, Chud was vulgar. He didn't say anything wrong. Well, Chud was vulgar. He didn't say anything wrong. May 29th, Chud said nothing wrong. He was vulgar, but he said nothing wrong.
Wait, May 29th? What do you mean? What are we saying here? On which
that is
clip?
It's really dry out here unless you want to suck Ethan Klein's cock for shekels or whatever the fuck he said. The shekels thing I think is later, right? Yes, I'm talking to you, Nicholas Deorio. He was vulgar, but he was correct.
Yeah, sure. Have I hold on, have I not said
that's
this?
Enough for me.
Yeah, have I not said this? I think I've said this pretty publicly all through last year.
You say it in different words.
Okay, sure. I say it in different words.
You know what I mean?
But again,
say it, like,
I don't
generally.
disagree.
And I don't even mind that. By the way, I don't even mind that because I think you are that way temperamentally. Like, this is just, I'll sweep for you a little bit. I think you're that way temperamentally with more than just Nicholas. I think you are that way with people you're friends with. You're like, you'll say, this is the principle I find. And if somebody really presses you, eventually you'll say, yeah, this person, it applies to them too. But I think that's generally how you are. You're not going to go directly at people that way unless they're like egregious, right?
Yeah, look at my videos. Look at the KP coverage. Even at the end of the KP, like the first Saber Spot video, I'm like, I don't think KP's malicious. I think she's just dumb. And I got criticism for doing that because I tend to be balanced with everybody.
Yeah, sure.
But when it comes to like, if you want like this coverage of Ethan Hassan Destiny has been like a milk, like everyone's milked this, and it's like been the only content, and last year was fucking boring because of it. Yeah, I said this. Publicly.
No,
last year.
Sorry, it was a wider criticism than that. It was to a fault. You've
to
taken
a fault.
the side
If
of
you
Ethan
just
Klein
want
to a fault.
What for Nicholas Pacific? Oh yeah, sure. I said this with the court case stuff, right?
Which you said with the lawsuits already. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just retreading my own words. Yeah. That was obviously aimed at everyone who was covering it, whether it was Willie, Nick, anyone. I was like, no, the court case stuff should have been treated far more harshly, and like recognized as potentially a floodgates opening. Yeah, I've said that publicly. It's fine. Mm-hmm. And once again, didn't get blocked.
Also, I did notice right at the beginning, you did throw some Asana's pads in there. Could you give a little credit to the people who were on that train early? Okay.
What the
You don't have to. I see a bunch of people swapping sides on that now. When I was getting called Hassan Dick Suck for saying this has gone too far.
Once again, I know your audience don't watch me, but I have said this before. I've said it's this side-cut tribal shit where it's like we have to side with people who are against Hassan, even if they are total pieces of shit, is fucking ridiculous. I was saying this all through last year. I got accused of being a Hassan fan at one point, despite the fact that I hate all of them. I said nice things. I said nice things about Denims at one point.
Oh my god.
I mean, fuck all these people is my view, right? Hassan, Destiny, Vosh, they all go in the same category to me.
I just don't think...
I've literally argued with Queeman about this
publicly.
Well, they do for me. I've argued about this publicly. Yeah, fuck all.
Category.
What is
sorry, sure.
Sure, actually no, where Destiny is now it's worth. Sure. But like they've all been in the same category as me, for me for years. But sure, yeah. Now it's like, yeah,
sure. In
Destiny's
terms of
obviously
like
worse.
purely their political, not their personal things, just their political. I would say, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
put them all in the same
Yeah.
category.
Like for their personal stuff, yeah, Destiny's obviously worse. Yeah, that seems
Yeah,
pretty
this,
obvious.
sorry, I
And
was just like,
Tectone's worse.
I don't know
and
about
like,
Hassan.
And Big Bungie is based for not being size cucked. Recently, in one of his streams, yes, there is a massive thing here where it's just like, oh, we have to make sure that we're hating Hassan constantly.
We do
at
love
the
Big
detriment of
Bungie.
anything else.
We do love
It's
Big
retarded.
Bungie. I love the Hassan and Denims, Nazi edits, the Hitlerian Denims and Hassan.
Yep.
Don't miss the train on Hitlerian Emiru, okay? Aryan Emiru.
Look,
Number one upcoming meme. Okay, it's
I'm
gonna be a thing.
I'm generally like, I think all the Twitch aristocracy are freaks, but anyway. I don't think that should come as a surprise.
I think there's probably something that breaks internally in your brain if you get millions of dollars by the time you're 22 or something.
Can we talk about
you
how
probably just don't ever get to be a good human at that point?
Can we talk how cucked Asmongold is?
On not criticizing Tectone, Nux, and these other people? Or what?
On the fucking... Asmon was defending fucking food shops recently. Somebody who he's like aware and has had drama with. It was bizarre.
So, unless there's more to that clip, I do think he was basically just going, why is Hassan calling everyone a pedophile? Because Hassan happens to have had, he's got the anti-pedophile aura, so all of his enemies seem to get caught talking to kids, looking at drawn pictures of kids. It just seems to keep happening over and over again. And so Hassan keeps calling these people out, Tectone, Asmongold. Well, Tectone was just Tectone sexualized kids too. Damn. I forgot about that for a second. Anime kids, a little different maybe, or maybe not, depending on your thoughts. But Chibi reviews. Okay, so Asmongold's watching Hassan call all those people pedophiles, and Asmongold just goes, dude, why is everybody against Hassan a pedophile? I think that was the quote-unquote defense of food shops.
Yeah, I don't know.
In that same clip, he goes, yeah, this retard covers me too, because he did like a video
did he
as
actually?
well.
Okay.
So I don't know. Was that...
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if it's actually a defense of food shops, to be honest with you.
I could be missing things, that's fine. I crashed out over seeing the fucking, dude. I can't believe you called me a pedophile as a trans woman. Fuck off, food shops. Just annoyed me. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, it was very, very goofy.
And Andrew Wilson jumping on the fucking train as well.
Wild stuff.
Retarded. Anyway.
Yeah, I assume Andrew didn't really think that. Did you see Andrew and Erudite are debating tonight?
Are they actually? Oh, fuck. Oh, okay.
Like an 8-hour whatever debate? Let's see if that's on right now. Whatever.
Okay, well, look, I'm going to go back to watching this next stuff.
It's still on.
Oh, my fucking God. Yeah, I'm going to go back to watching the rest
We're 7.5
of
hours into this debate, guys. Andrew's hair is totally fucked. Okay, you got to go back to the video, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you for talking to me.
No worries. Peace, buddy.
All
right. Oh, okay. Right, I've officially given the other side.